On this computer. I am recording. We are recording.
Just so in case I say something that you want to listen to again, you'll have it. So how do we get to Sapphire? Well, there's multiple ways to get to Sapphire, but I'm going to tell you, you're not going to go do it yourself. Okay. That's no disrespect to you, but don't try to go do it my way because it's really hard. And the way I got there isn't the way that you should get there.
When you say don't do it myself, what you really mean is I need at least one other person who's bringing people in underneath them.
I'll explain that in a minute.
I'll be quick.
What I mean. But what I really mean by that is you're not going to recruit your way there. That's not going to happen. Okay. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to recruit you're not going to recruit $15,000 in volume in 1 month. It's not.
I believe that.
No disrespect to you at all.
That's why we're having this conversation. That looks like an impossible task.
Right. So the next question is, all right, well, what is the rank of Sapphire? Okay. What does that mean? That means you have at least 3 lines, okay, of business that produce $15,000 in volume. That means that you can count no more than $8,000 in volume from 1 line. So for instance, say Amethyst comes in and she crushes this thing and she does 20,000 in her first month. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Now you're going to get paid on that potentially. At some point you would, but you will not rank because of one person coming
Correct.
in and blowing it up. You have to have at least 3. Now, of course, you can have a lot of lines out there. Like, for instance, if Larry recruits a couple, and if what's her name recruits a couple, and whatever. But you have to have there's a 40% rule. You can't count when you count your rank. When your rank volume is calculated in your back office, what that really means is that only 8,000 of volume can come from that line of business. Okay. So for instance, with me, Dr. Lorette going towards Ruby, she can only use, in her case, she can only use $16,000 in volume of my volume. And we produce way more than that. Okay. So even though I produce almost enough for her to hit Ruby, or our team, it's not me, she can't count it. Okay. You can't count it either. Okay. So that's what you need to have in order to hit Sapphire. So what must we do in order to hit Sapphire, right? One person working the calendar, working your flight plan calendar, should produce Sapphire, okay? One party of 5 people, so 5 people should equal $1,000 in volume. Okay, 5 equals 1,000. Okay, you get me? Are you with me? You look confused. Are you with me?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to decide if I'm with you. When you say 5, that's in a boom party.
5 prospects, just like Edwin talked about
in a boom party
on Saturday.
Right.
5 prospects should equal $1,000 in product volume. Okay?
Right.
So one person working the calendar, and working the calendar means you're doing 4 good parties a week. Okay? 4. I'm going to wrap this all up, but 4. Okay? So if you were moving, you're moving, but if you're moving on the good party side, okay, then 5 people in a room. Every good party should have 5 people in a room, or a coffee shop, or a Zoom party, or whatever, right? So of course, if we're doing 4 of those a month or a week, that's $4,000 in volume. Okay, a week times 4 weeks is $16,000 in volume. Okay, you with me?
Yes.
So one person working that calendar appropriately. Now, you're not going to do that the first week. It's kind of impossible for you to do that the first week. Not impossible, but improbable, because we just started this. We just started really the in-person stuff, right? And you don't have to do it all that way. I just haven't seen super duplication. So I'm going to give you, in the virtual environment, so I'm going to give you a way to do it that I believe you can absolutely predict your success.
Yeah.
Okay? So just hang tight. Okay. So this is a simple answer. Okay. Is you do 4 good parties a week for certain people or for yourself. And from those good parties, now you're going to have to go recruit some people. You're going to have to go, and I'm going to give you the path to that here in a minute. And that should equal $16,000 in volume. Okay. You have to do 16 good parties at $1,000 a piece. Okay. Now, I know that we don't have the people locally because we haven't recruited anybody locally to do that. Okay. We can't do that. I mean, we don't have 4 to 6 people locally that want to do anything, right? We don't have any of that. So what you must do is you must go actively prospect and go find those 4. So the first step, and I don't know if you know a lot of local people. I have no idea. I mean, you've lived down there for a while, but I don't know. But if you do, then you host your own good party and you go do whatever you have to do. I don't know if if there's people in that area that can afford it. I don't know. Like
Here's the harsh reality of where I live. The harsh reality of where I live is that people that live down here are here for the same reason I'm here, because they're broke and don't have any money and can't afford to live anywhere else. These aren't quality prospects.
Okay, so you must, in my opinion, the virtual world is going to be hard, okay, to hit this kind of goal. Okay. Right. Does it work? Yes, I've proven that it's worked. We've recruited 65 plus people that way.
Right.
I mean, there's no question that it works, but does it work to duplicate? Do I get people that bring on 5, 6, 7 people?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Their first time. Now, I don't see that. I just don't see that. So what do you do your first week? Week number 1. Okay. This is my game plan for you and for myself. I'm in the process of doing that today. Week number 1 is all about scheduling as many, and I don't know how if you do this all in 1 or 2 days, you go up to San Diego or wherever it happens to be, and you do whatever you need to do, and whether you do Zoom calls with me, I don't care how it happens. Like the how can work itself out later. But your first week is all about doing a bunch of one-on-ones, and I'm going to give you some verbiage today that I learned that Felicia will be teaching at a later time, but that I will share with you. But that seems to be working okay for sure. But you do one-on-ones, as many of them as possible in the first week, because what you're looking for is you need to bring on at least 4 people. 2 to 4, but at least 4 people that are willing to hold parties at their house or coffee shop or whatever, right? That's what you're looking for in week number 1. Now, this doesn't mean that you forget about Larry and you forget about those people that you've recruited, but you need to go recruit some, and Amethyst might be one of them. I don't know. But we have to get her in first. And I don't know. I hope she's still there. I hope it was just a embarrassment of not wanting to tell me that she didn't have enough money to join. I hope that's the case. Okay? That's what I hope.
Me too.
But I don't know. She hasn't gotten back to me, and I've been asking her to, but, whatever. But you need to find people, and you need to go as hard as you've ever gone before. If you really, truly want to hit Sapphire, because I don't believe there's a few people on your team that might contribute a little bit, but I don't believe there's anybody on your team currently other than buying booms and maybe enrolling one or two, that are going to contribute a lot. You're in the same position I was.
Yep.
So you need to go find people that are. Now, what I'm doing is I'm prospecting locally like crazy, setting up one-on-one meetings, and then asking them if they would, if it would be okay if they brought a friend, to make that a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1. Now, as soon as, so that's week one. Week one is all about doing enough one-on-ones to close, and one-on-ones could be a one-on-one Zoom, right? I have no problem. If you were in my local area, what I would do is I would say, all right, Len, put me in front of somebody. I wouldn't have them watch the video already, right? So if you say, hey, I got a quality prospect, can we do a Zoom? Absolutely. Now, of course, typically, if it's a virtual environment, I would want you to have them take them through a process first. But if this is a one-on-one situation, I have no problem talking about the vision of the company for 15, 20 minutes, meeting that person, and then making sure they're interested if they're a quality prospect, just like I would in a one-on-one environment with you. I've no problem with that, okay? But the only but is they're gonna have to be scheduled, so I can have them on my schedule, right? But some way or another, you are going to have to create duplication that way. It just, that's what's gonna have to happen. So the first week is about doing so many one-on-ones or 2-on-1s that you find 2 to 4 people that want to go do something locally or abroad. But I mean, like, then the next 3 weeks is about holding either virtual or in-person good parties with those people. Just like, I'm not going to reteach it, just like Edwin taught, to get you doing 4 to 6 good parties a week. And your goal is to hit $1,000 per good party. And of course, I'll come in there to back you up. I'll come in there to back you up on to edify you and all that kind of stuff. But that's the predictable way to go hit Sapphire. And I only tell you that to tell you this. I just haven't seen in 4.5 months a predictable way to do it using virtual stuff. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A predictable way to create duplication, because I can't be with you. I can't lock arms with you. I can't go do it with you because it's not the same. Like, we go in team rooms all the time. I just haven't seen it. So if you want to go hit Sapphire, that's what you must do. The first week, starting as soon as possible, needs to be with setting up so many. I would have my goal to set up at least 20 appointments. Between 10 and 20 appointments. If you close 20% of them, you got your 4. And when I sit down with you, I'm saying, all right, here's what's going to happen, okay? When you join, here's what's going to happen. We're going to schedule a good party. I'm going to come present, okay? I'm going to come present. You're just going to edify me. I'm going to come present however you want to present. If you want to present with the I decide, if you want to present the actual presentation, whatever, you can read in your calendar. They teach you exactly how to do it. If you want to, do it with an I decide and popcorn. If you want, don't put a bunch of money into it, of course. Like, don't do it that way. Just have people invite over to their house and, lead them to do that. If you want to do it all in one day, like a load of Saturday or Sunday up, go for it. But whatever you got to do, that's how we get to Sapphire and make sure that we get to Sapphire next month. That's how you do it. Now, could you put massive hours in and potentially sign up enough people and bring in 1 or 2 people to do it virtually? I just can't predict that.
Right. Okay. I understand. Okay. Let me think. I have a couple of challenges, and I don't know haven't figured out how to overcome them yet. And a part of the challenge I have is I'm not in a position where I can build a local team in San Diego until I get more money coming in to pay for the gas in the van to drive to San Diego. It's just,
Well,
yeah,
that's why I mean, if you had told me it was like 30 minutes away or something, if it were me and of course I need to have some money to put gas in the van. I get that part.
yeah,
Maybe you do some of that stuff via Zoom. Maybe you keep doing virtual stuff. But when you ask me the question, how can I make sure I get to Sapphire?
yeah. No, I appreciate the answer. So I got to work through.
I'm just being real with you.
Yeah, no, I
If I
appreciate
tell
that.
you, I could tell you, I'll keep doing what you're doing, and are you going to recruit some people? For sure.
Yeah,
There's no question you're going to recruit some people.
what I need is a
Getting to
couple of qualified.
getting to Sapphire is more than recruiting people. Getting to Sapphire is helping 3 to 4 people get to senior.
Right.
Getting to Sapphire is helping 6 people get to director. 6 times, yeah, approximately. For most people. Now, if you have massive influence, like I had some pretty good influence when I came in, so I was able to, do some things on a higher level
Mm-hmm.
than most.
Mm-hmm.
But most people can't do that.
Right.
So I can't tell you to do what I did
Understood.
because it's not possible for most.
Okay, I understand.
So what is possible is locking arms. And could you do it over Zoom? I've never done it that way, but I'm sure you could have a Zoom meeting with somebody, bring me in there like it was a 2-on-1, have them scheduled, bring them on board. They're just going to have to take responsibility on their own shoulders. When I say hold a good party at your house and I teach them how to invite, and then we can present virtually, and then 2 times in, 3 times in, they can start presenting their own within their own household, and I can explain how it works that way. Like, you can certainly attempt to do it that way. I've just never heard about it, and I've never done it. I can't.
Right.
I've never done the local stuff either. I'm starting right now. I'm
I
scheduling
understand.
one-on-ones like crazy. So
Yeah.
if I were to tell you the predictable way, if I was in your situation, I would do everything I could do via Zoom, using me. I certainly would go as hard as I possibly could. I would still be putting people on the virtual presentation as well, but my outward focus would be getting people locally, because there will be Super Saturdays and stuff, and when you start making some more money, you can go up and do that kind of stuff. But that's the way I would do it. And I would just keep looking ahead.
Right.
I just keep looking to 3 to 6, exposures, at least 3 good exposures a day. Not just to the IDA side, but in a personal relationship like this. And I would freaking go as hard as I possibly could. Sapphire's a stretch. It's going to be tough. I'm not telling you it's not, because it's going to be tough. That's why it's a leadership rank, because it takes leadership to get there.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Well, you've told me what I need to know. Yeah.
So, like I said, in the perfect world, you need to find 3 people that you believe you could help get to senior. Which is 5,000.
Right.
If you find 3 people that you believe you can help get to senior, that's 15,000. And you do that through doing 4 good parties for each one of them. Now, I'm not telling you can't do that in a virtual environment. That's certainly potentially doable.
Mm-hmm.
And we can help you do that. But we must go find 3 to 5 people that want to go do this.
Yeah.
And you have to go do that in week 1 to the first 10 days maximum.
Right.
Now, anything can happen. You can recruit a Terry that has influence and they can go blow their side out for sure. But you still need some more oomph there.
Yeah, that only produces one leg.
Of course, you're going to need some more oomph, but your focus, your only focus, you're like, I want to go Emerald, of course.
Right.
My only focus is finding 2. I don't care about everybody else. It doesn't matter how many no's I see. It doesn't matter because all I need is 2. It doesn't matter how many. I called 80 I didn't. I called 78 real estate agents on Saturday.
Yeah,
and I got
there.
that said yes. Now, out of those, I've scheduled 1 appointment so far.
I thought you were going to try to do a breakfast meeting or a lunch meeting.
I was, but it didn't work. Most people, and so what I've decided to do is do one-on-ones until I recruit somebody, and then I'll do a good party for them for a couple reasons. I'm not in a great financial position either.
Yeah.
And I think it's easier for them to get to know me over coffee, decide they want to join. All right, let's rock and roll.
Yeah, my gut feeling was the breakfast wasn't going to be the best idea at this point, but
it would work. It would work if I had, if I could have a steady, predictable place and I was willing to put some money out. It would work that way, just with numbers. I mean, if I had 3 people there, it would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 10, 20, 30, whatever. But I just don't want to build it that way. I've decided. So I'm going to do one-on-ones and have them ask them, write this phrase down, write this would it be okay phrase down. Would it be okay if? Would it be okay? So when somebody says yes, you can even do this on a virtual. Would it be okay if you invited a friend along too? Would it be okay?
Got it. Okay. Okay, so my job, even to get to Sapphire, well, if I want to be able to go to the leadership thing is it in Fort Lauderdale in December? Or wherever it is?
Fort Lauderdale / Miami, somewhere in that area.
Even to get to that, I have to hit Sapphire by sometime in November. So that leaves 2 months.
Yeah. If you want to get to Splash, you got to get it in October.
Yeah.
So it's very simple. It's not easy, but it's very simple.
No, it's not easy.
Your focus. It's not about thinking. It's not about any of that. Your focus. It's not about stressing. It's not about any of that. Your focus is, in my opinion, is new local people every single day. Just new people, like
new people. They don't have to be local. If we're going to do it virtual, they don't have to be local. They can be anywhere in the world.
Right. I totally understand, but don't spend a lot of time with with people that are shepherds. Because I have an African team, of course, and you never know. But the likelihood, like this girl in Belize, I don't know where you're at with her. Certainly follow up with those people, but put your focus on new people.
Right.
I mean, this is going to take, and you need to put I'm not saying that you haven't. I'm very impressed with what you did this month, but you're going to have to put extreme, it's not pressure, extreme focus and time and effort into the first all month, but the first 10 days to find 2 to 3 people that you can help take there. And then you're going to have to, you can obviously use me. I would use me. You're going to have to lead them to go get it.
Yep. Got it.
You're going to have to teach them How? You're going to have to do presentations or have us do presentations. Now we have presentations going. There's no reason why they can't do that and use those presentations in a virtual environment. But you just have to. Now it's never going to work out the way you think it's going to work out, but that's that's what you must do. That's why it's called a leadership rank, because it usually is. You can get to executive and you can get to senior by yourself. You don't need help to get there.
Understood. Okay, I got it.
So is there any questions about the how part? Is there any questions about, I mean, we're here, you have me locked. Is there any other questions about any of that I can help you with?
I don't think so. I think I got to soul search and see and figure out what it is that I can, what I can do, what I'm willing to do. And, got to figure it out. So you told me what I need to know.
Okay. So here's what I would, you're very good at typically at doing three-way calls and that kind of thing. I'm going to give you some advice here. Make sure you major in the major things. I'm going to tell you what I mean.
Yep.
Don't major in figuring out how to do it, meaning, and when I say major, I mean spend most of your time.
Right.
Don't spend most of your time today thinking and pontificating and all of that. Spend most of your time, not only today, but every day in action. Spend most of your time in front of prospects. Spend most of your time doing three-ways with prospects. Spend most of your time in activities that will produce an income for you or produce results, meaning and ending and beginning with being in front of prospects.
Yep.
That's what's important. However you do that, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Of course, I'm using Facebook a lot because it's more instant. You have a lot of people on your Facebook page. I'm sure that you haven't went through. If you're serious, which I know you are, you should have no more people on Facebook. I don't care if, you call yourself lazy once in a while and maybe it's ADD, maybe it's whatever. Like, there should be no excuse at the end of this month that you haven't gone through every single person on Facebook that you have connected to. There's no reason. There's absolutely no excuse for it. Other than I didn't want to.
No, I'll get through everybody on Facebook this month. That's for sure. I'm over halfway through my list.
And there's no reason that you're not reaching out to 100 or 2 people wherever you want to reach out to them. Like I said, I recommend locally or local in the US too. But there's no reason why you're not reaching out to, 100 or 200, sending that many friend requests a day on your phone because you can. There's no reason you're not doing that. From this point forward, I'm not saying.
Yeah, I understand.
Really say, And at the end of the day, just remember this, okay? And this is a hard pill for me to swallow. Sometimes. At the end of the day, remember that intentions don't matter. You're great. You're great. You're a diamond inside, but at the end of the day, we have to remember that intentions don't matter. We have to remember that what we want to do doesn't matter. We have to remember that every excuse, no matter how big or small, is an excuse. And the truth is made to make us better. And the only truth that we have is our results. It's made to make us better. So if we run away from it, I did this for years, Len. That's why I know it so well. If we run away from it, and I'm not saying you are, you're not. I'm just stating it.
No, I understand.
If we run away from it and put excuses in the middle, that cuts off our growth. We cannot grow from that situation.
No, and I'm guilty of all those things, just like we all are. Yeah.
So
I hide behind my computer. I run away from my results. I always have a reason.
So decide that you're not going to have a reason. That's the
And
only way that you're going to grow to the next level. And if you fail, it's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Nobody's going to judge you. The people that matter aren't going to judge you. The people that matter in your life aren't going to judge you. But if we continue that behavior, this is one of my worst. This is what got me in a bunch of trouble financially. I get it. Because I'd always lay an excuse. Well, if we lay an excuse, that covers it up for us so we don't have to deal with it. That's the only reason it does it. That's the only reason why we give an excuse. And if we continue giving those excuses, we never, ever get what we want. We never, ever get to give to our daughter like you want to do, right? We never, ever get to take our wife all the way across the world with no worries. We never, ever get to build that huge group and grace the stage like we want to do. All because, talking about myself, I was too weak, even a couple months ago, to look in the mirror and say, your results are your results. No matter what, your results are your results. If you really want diamond by the end of the year, you're going to figure out a way to get it. And if you don't, you're going to make an excuse. This is me talking to me.
Yep.
If you really want to make that dollar figure, yeah, you might. There's some failure that may happen. But that's for us to learn from. The truth sets us free because we're able to learn from those results. When I say, how many exposures do we have? And our goal is 3 a day. We have to know that answer because that's what helps us grow. That's not to call anybody out and at all. But when I'm having a personal conversation with somebody that wants to grow, that's on this level, and that's what this is all about. When your character and you grow to a new level, your income has to follow. When our discipline gets to a point that it's breaking that roof, then our financial roof is going to raise. And so when we throw that all out the window and say it is what it is, I'm not afraid of that anymore. Or maybe I am, but I'm going to do it anyways. And the only thing that matters in October is my results. And like Jim Rohn says, he says, if I hire somebody and their first week on the job, I tell them to make 10 calls. And this was obviously probably door to door. And I bring them back in. We need to check our results often. I bring them back in a week. And on Friday, I say, Johnny, how many calls did you make? He asks this question to the audience of, what does that tell me? Well, it tells you everything. If that person made 1 call, oh God, we hired the wrong person. They only made 1 call. We have some psychological and we have some confidence issues. We have some stuff that we have to overcome. If that person only did what they said, great. They made 10 calls, but what if that person makes 20 calls? What if your goal is 3 a day and you say, I'm going to do everything I can to smash this thing. I'm going to go get 5. And you do it. Or you average 1 over. Well, results are results, but if you go on this run and you don't do 5 or 6 3-ways a day or a week with me, well, I know that there's some issues there. Now, you don't have a problem with that, but my point is it's all about the only thing that matters to ourselves and to getting to the next level. The only thing that matters is our results, because if you come and tell me that I'm hitting my numbers, dude, like I'm hitting my numbers, I'm hitting 4 real exposures a day, but we're not signing anybody up. Well, I can diagnose that problem. If it's in the cold market, I can look at my book and tell you I sign up 1 in 18. I know my numbers. What are your numbers? Yeah. If you're signing up 5 out of 100, well, you're good. Like, we just need to do more numbers. You're not failing. Now we need to get into their warm market and create duplication and dive deeper. But the truth, this is something I'm really dealing with right now. this is how the truth sets us free. Because when we look at when we're big enough and man enough to look at that without putting a blanket over it, we can deal with it. We can fix it.
Right.
But if we don't, we just put a blanket over it because of whatever. It doesn't matter. We can justify anything because we got sick, because this happened, because I live here, because who knows what.
Yep.
Because this person said this to me. But at the end of the day, there's only one thing that matters. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is our results. And so be incredibly truthful to yourself, because if you don't allow yourself to have excuses, you won't allow your downline to have excuses to you. Now, you can be nice. You know, we've had a challenge with that of not holding people to the fire, meaning if they don't want to do it, I need to see that. And I need to pet them and say, I love you. It's okay. And then go work with those who do want it.
Right.
We need to hold ourselves to a higher standard, because whatever we won't do to ourselves, we'll never do to our downline. Ever. If I'm not willing to go out there in the marketplace and hold weekly stuff and do one-on-ones face-to-face, I would never, there's no way I could get myself to come and tell you guys to do it. I would say, follow Edwin. I would just, you see, so if you're that way, you might, and it's okay, it's not a failure, you might not hit it this month. Now I'm going to do everything I possibly can to help you hit it. I'm going to be on every three-way call. I'm going to be on every, I'm going to do whatever possible that I can do.
I understand that, but I got to get the exposures and get the calls set up.
But you have to get the call set up. You have to do your part.
Right.
And you know that. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. But every single day, you can't, I'm going to tell you one other thing. One of my biggest challenges in the past would be mentally living too far in the future and saying, that's all right. I'll get it tomorrow. Oh, that's all right.
That's called procrastination.
3 days from now. I only got one today. That's okay. I'll get it tomorrow. But we have to check our results and be real with ourselves every day. And if we didn't get it yesterday, meaning we only got one exposure yesterday, we need to have 5 today. Because if we only got 1 yesterday and we do the same thing, now we're behind by 6. We're not going to catch up, more than likely.
Right.
If we don't catch up, we don't hit our goal.
That's just procrastination, and that's one of my biggest issues that I'm always dealing with.
So
I only got 2 today, so I guess I'll have to get another one tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination.
So if it's 8 o'clock and you're not a late night guy, you need to stay up until you get it.
Yeah.
Or you need to stay up hard and prospect like crazy so you can have a head start tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've had to put more focus into my marketing business to pay the bills. And so I have less time to work. So I have to put hours in different facets. But every single day, you need to practice being a diamond, being a sapphire. Every single day, we need to make our bed when we get up. Every single day, we need to take a shower and get dressed like you were going to convention. Every single day, you need to, because if we do it that way, that's completely connected to hitting our goals over here, 100%. Everything's connected. I don't have to get up. I could shut my computer off shut the screen off just like we were in Asia. And I'm not perfect at all. But one thing I do know is that everything matters and everything is connected. It doesn't matter if somebody's coming to see it. That's not what matters. What matters is your standard. And if your standard is here, you're going to attract here type people.
Yeah.
And so this isn't a session to make you down. And here's the last thing that I want you to do. I want you to, this is what I've done. And I hope I'm not I hope you don't feel I'm dictative, but I want you to invite criticism, constructive criticism from the right people into your life.
I understand.
Felicia is very She can be very hard on me. But that's because she wants me to be great. And for a long time, until recently, I would get mad. I would, 'cause all I care about, my top care is love. So internally, I thought she was just cutting me down. That's not what Reds do. They criticize you if they love you and if they like you, to help you get to the next level, not to cut you down. But it's how we take that decides whether it lifts us up or whether it pounds us into the ground. And so when you hear criticism of yourself, or when you are going through a book and Felicia's teaching and you're like, man, I do that, and you kind of slump in your chair, don't do that. I'm not telling you do, but I know you do sometimes.
Of course I do. We all do. It's part of being human.
That's not true. You don't have to do that. It's not part of being human. It's part of not having control of our emotions. If we have control of our emotions, what we do is we say, yep, that's me, and I'm going to do something about it. Thank you for pointing that out. So Felicia told me something yesterday about someone that I was using as a teaching lesson in a negative manner. And she said, you shouldn't do that anymore. That makes them not feel good. I didn't know I was doing it, but I got ripped a little bit. And I said, please, thank you. Just come back to me sooner next time, so I can change it. So we can either look at criticism in one of two manners. We can get a little defensive inside or outside, but inside typically, and sad and sulky. Or we can say, thank you. I want to be great. And the only way I can be great is if somebody else points out things that I need to change about myself, and I change them. That's the only way. And I raised my standard. I've had to do that a lot lately. The day before, and I invite it. I say, thank you very much for doing that. I sincerely, where previously 2 months ago, I would have sulked and got mad and sat in a corner. Not really, but
yeah.
I would have gave her the silent treatment for the whole day. I'm just being real with you because you're a good friend of mine. Take that and invite it into your life, because if you invite it into your life, more people that you care about and you respect will come to you. And the only reason they come to you and the only reason they give you constructive criticism isn't because they think you're not good enough. That's not the reason. The reason is because they see greatness in you. And if you're to be great and if you're to be a diamond, you have to do different things. And they care about you enough to put energy into you to tell you the things that you need to know and you need to change because they've been through it already. That's the only reason. Now, people that you don't care about, that you don't respect, that's different. We can also learn from that, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
It's not truth that gets told to you from the outside, whoever that may be. Just look at that as a learning lesson. Look at that as I don't freaking care anymore. I just want to grow. And so thank you. Those words don't even, personally for me, they don't really impact me anymore. They tell me the direction that I need to change, and I'm so grateful for that. I had a conversation with Tommy the other day, and I got popped for a couple things. Not in a bad way, but I just doing some things not perfect. Thank you. Invite that back into your life. Thank you for doing that, and please don't stop, because I want to go there, and I know that there's things that I can't see. And that's the way I've chose to live my life now. I chose those words on purpose because I truly, we can say what we want, but I truly want to be great. And if we can't be humble and take criticism, I'm not saying you're not, and we can't accept that into our life without ruining our day, we can't be great. We can't. And what happens if we do that is a lot of things happen. We do things to hide our faults, and then they just get worse. Not only do they get worse, but they get buried deeper. Talking about myself. And they ruin more relationships, and they make you make decisions that you don't want to make and things that you regret later, all because, in my case, because I'm afraid to have somebody that I love tell me something that I don't want to hear. But if I invite that into my life and say, bring it, all I want to do is grow, just bring it. When she comes and says that, I can say, I get it. And I can decide that moment to change. And I can decide that moment to say, I get it. I'm not going to do that anymore. And if I do, please call me out, because that's not right what I did. I didn't mean to, but mean to doesn't matter. The result is I did. And so I don't lay an excuse on it like I used to, because when I laid that excuse, I don't mean to. What that did psychologically is I'm okay. I'll be okay. But if I'm okay, then I never change it. Why would I? So invite that into your life without getting emotionally attached to it. Because what I've learned is, if we're to be a real leader in life, not just in a business, but in life, we're going to be the most criticized person on the planet.
Yep.
We are. Everybody sees us. It's very easy to criticize someone that's out front.
Yep. Look at
So
what Trump takes.
if we take that, get this. If we take that as criticism to put us down, because criticism, if we feel it, if we decide to feel it, like love, it'll never be something that we like, and we'll always go away from it. Therefore, we'll never lead. Why would we?
Yeah.
Because the leader, a real leader, takes responsibility of the whole tribe. And if you don't take your own fall, I'm just having this as an example, and something happens at convention, I'm going to take the blame. I'm going to step up and take the blame, because that's what leaders do. But if we're afraid of criticism and we're afraid of the truth, it's impossible to be a leader. How could we be a leader in that situation? We can't.
Right.
It's impossible. So practice with people that you, and you might even go back to people and say, this is tough, what I'm about to say, but somebody that knows you real well, that's had more success than you, and say, hey, I'm really trying to be great right now. What's your honest assessment of my character? What could I do better? Have that conversation with people. I'm not saying go do it right now, but have that. Don't be afraid of that. Because once it's out in the open, the people that are great in your life, the people that care about you, they won't judge you. I don't judge you. I've been through your path. I don't judge you at all. Ever. Yes, you make mistakes like the rest of us. And yes, I'm going to do my best to lead you to the next level, because I see greatness in you where you don't see it. But those people will never judge you. If they judge you, they're not real. And don't think they're judging you just because they might criticize you in a certain manner. Bring it. Bring it. So I tell everybody that I care about now, bring it. Tell me. I want to be better. The only thing I care about is being great for so many reasons. It's not attached to ego anymore, because you can't have both. You either have ego, and ego doesn't mean you. Ego just means to me, you're set in your ways and you're unwilling to change them. You think you know everything, not you personally, but a person.
I understand. I'm not taking anything personal. And
Well, I've said some things in the past to some people that, so I have to be one of the things that I've.
And I am listening carefully, because you're saying a lot of very powerful and good things. Yeah.
So that's what we must become. My wife comes to me a week ago and says, did you leave the graham crackers out? And she has it in her hand. And I will get up from time to time at night and eat stuff. It's one of my worst habits. And so before I would have said, I'm sorry, babe, I meant to, like, blah, 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 blah. So I can never change that habit, because this is something I've recently learned. Because I have these graham crackers in my hand or on the counter, and I laid an excuse over the top of it, which gives a reason for why it happened, justifies it in my mind, therefore I never have to change it mentally. So I said, yep, I guess I did. I mean, what do you want me to say? There is nothing to say. Jim Rohn always says this: just give me a number, just answer the question. I don't care what it is. My objective to ask the question is not to get the perfect answer. It's to get the answer so you can change, so you can make a decision to do different actions this week. It's not about being perfect. I go back to my coaching with Ray Higdon, and I told him so many things that I thought he wanted to hear. Therefore, I had very little growth potential, and I didn't grow very much. Yeah, we had a great time there, but that's the realist. That's the real answer. I've been there.
Yeah.
I know how it feels. But when you get to the point where all you want to do is grow, you don't care anymore, and you allow the truth to come to you from all angles, from a prospect, from whoever, you have the ability to grow light years ahead and drop everything that we think we know and just grow and be in that humble area of just learning and just growing. So take some time to reflect on maybe some things that you know that you do that are impacting your success.
Mm-hmm.
Some things that you know that you typically say or give excuses upon, and catch yourself. Be cognizant of when somebody asks you, or Felicia asks you something about whatever, just tell her the answer. Just tell me the answer. And then we can diagnose. The next question, what's it going to be? Why? It's not confrontational. It's just, well, why did you miss your exposures by half? You see, the reason why I used to be like, she'd be like, well, where are we at? Well, I just don't know where we're at. Bullshit. You're not going to tell me where we are this month because you don't want to face the truth. And that was the real truth.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, why wouldn't you? If we were where we were at, I would be proud. We're all that way.
Mm-hmm.
But only real leaders and real people that really want to grow say, I'm slacking behind right now. Well, why? Well, I'm procrastinating on this. Be real. Not an excuse. Be real. Well, I have a lot of fear to make the phone call. It takes me an hour to pick up the phone and actually dial these real estate agents.
Yeah, quite
Nobody.
honestly, I've thought a lot about that. I at this moment in time, I don't think I could do what you did on Saturday.
Why?
Fear?
Of what?
I don't know. Dolly,
Like what?
100 strange people that I don't know.
Like what is? So let's diagnose this. Like what is? Because if you don't get over that fear, I don't believe. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that. I mean, maybe you can, but I don't believe you'll be able to hit where you want to hit.
Whatever happened to attraction marketing and not having to cold call and do house parties and all this stuff? And it's an interesting, and that's something I've been thinking about recently. The whole MLSP theory. I've spent several years, of course, in MLSP, and it hasn't worked for me.
Of course. So
there's some things that.
There's some things that. Just a sec. There's some things that people don't understand. They look at Ray's story and they're like, well, Ray created all this stuff with attraction marketing. No, he didn't. Ray created it in 6 months by getting 20 no's a day for 6 months.
Yes, I fully understand the
Milepost.
yeah.
I just choose to follow success. You know, to be truthful, I tried to go do it my own way. Because I have a huge fear to go in person with people. I have a huge fear to actually look people in the eyes. Now I'm getting over that fear. And I'm going to get over that fear soon. I want to stay in my comfort zone. But a lot of attraction marketing is just a myth. It's lying to the public. Otherwise, it would work for everybody, right? They want to play the easy card because they're preying on people that, like Shirlene and like you and like I used to, and preying on people that don't want to put the real work in or are scared to put the real work in. And they can go make a little bit of money with MLSP because it's the easy card. But let's face it. If it was really easier, don't you think that the number one people in the world would be doing it? Now, we all use attraction marketing to some extent, and there is some truth in it, but I mean, if it really worked, don't you think that it's just a real conversation here? Don't you think that real estate agents would use it instead of going pounding the streets and doing their thing? Now, it does work, but it doesn't work as your only strategy. It all depends on what you want. If we want millions of income, if we want to create a legacy, it doesn't work as your only strategy. Or that's what every company would teach. Why wouldn't they? Just go post cool travel pictures and post your link there, or go post cool travel pictures, and whoever comments, just get back to them. And it's the wussy way. It's the way for people that are scared. I'm not calling you anything, but it's just the facts.
It's okay. I've been scared. I am scared.
It's a way to let people know, hey, you can still do it. Do it this way. You don't have to do home parties. Do you think I want to go do that stuff? Not really. Do you think I want $1 million a month in income in 5 years? Absolutely. I went and tried to do and we had success doing the virtual thing. But let's face it, there's a lot of people that I don't believe, now this is just me, I don't believe are working as hard as me. I'm proud of my work ethic and what I do, but are making 10 times the money I'm making, 20 times the money I'm making. Why? Because in this industry, there's something that works and there's something that doesn't work. And when I say work, I mean give us thousands of dollars of income. What works is going and getting the business. This is called network marketing, meaning we're marketing a service of whatever through our network. And what we need to do is we need to go find people that want to do the same thing. And if the number one networker in the world did it this way, he wouldn't be teaching his whole company this way if there was an easier way to make it happen. I just don't believe it. I was in World Ventures and the top people, none of them were in any system or anything. Yeah, they talked about posting travel pictures, but if there's no action behind the travel pictures, we're just fake, every single one of us. I'm just using travel pictures as one way of attraction marketing. It's just fake. I mean, really, it's just fake. Now, if you're Ray Higdon at his, you know, at his, I mean, he's further along financially now, but in his heyday, he was killing it, but nobody understood the work behind it. And so everybody takes the easy parts of what he did and says, well, why doesn't this work for me? Well, you didn't put the freaking work in, dude. You don't have the energy there. You're just fake.
Yeah. No,
that's why it doesn't work.
I understand.
So this business, high success in this business will never be any different. There's a reason why I've never built a local team, because I've been scared. I've been scared. Scared to talk to people in person, scared to be judged, scared to fail, scared to commit to weekly stuff. Scared. I can call all day, because if I flake on that, no big deal. Who cares? But in every book that you read, Think and Grow Rich, on the how side, he talks about finding somebody that has what you want and do exactly what they do. Now, there's a few people in MLSP like Mark Harbert and like Diane Hockman and, you know, a few of those, Kate McShay, but they didn't make it doing that. They created a massive audience by creating value in the marketplace. They created relationships, usually belly to belly, with the right people. They went and launched several courses. They created this massive audience. That's how they did it. But they didn't do it in network marketing. They didn't do it here. They didn't do it in this game. They don't have residual income. If we want the product of what's here, we go to work for 6 months to 18 months. And then we just work through our team. If we want to. If we don't want to, we go do our thing. So if you want what most MLSP people have, a couple grand a month, people dropping out all the time, you know, then we go do that. If we want multiple 5 figures a month or 6 figures a month or whatever, $1 million a month, we go do what works in network marketing.
Yeah.
Have high success. So we get to choose. Every single one of us gets to make it. I don't have to go do what I'm about to go do, what I've started. I could still flake at this moment. I have a couple appointments made, and like I could flake. I can promise you I'm not going to, but I could.
I know you're not going to.
Or I could say, you know what, for the first time in my life, maybe it's really good that I conquer my greatest fear and at the same time make lots of money and impact lots of lives. Is our goal to do the easiest thing possible to make a dime? Is that our goal? Now, of course, at one point, even I'm at this place now. I just want to make some money so my wife can be secure and I can go do what I want to do. All I want to do is I boomerang. I don't want to do anything else. But we have to be responsible for our commitments as well. So at the end of the day, if we're going to create success here, yeah, nobody said you had to go cold call, but I don't know anybody here. Nobody. So I could sit here and just put it all on Keith's back, and meaning I have a guy here, and just go put it all there. Or I can go make a splash. I can go reach out to as many people as I possibly can, and I can go start doing one-on-ones, and I can go grab 5 or 10 people to go do good parties with. So I can crush this thing. Because my ultimate goal is not to stay away from my fear. Used to be. I cover it up with everything. We can just do this thing online. We don't want to do home parties. That's old. Nobody comes to people go to parties all the time if they like. Like my father-in-law here has parties, has people coming over all the time just to get a get together. People will use every excuse in the book, but it's just those people, just ask yourself, Now they might have a better life than you, but do you really want what they have? Do you really want something dependent upon what theirs is dependent upon? And at the end of the day, attraction marketing only works for long periods of time if it's real. That's the only time it works. And now everybody thinks that they can go post anything that they want to and it's going to work, and it's not going to work that way. Not cold calling people is a marketing ploy, dude. People buy into it because they don't want to do it. I'm not saying you have to, but you have to find people somewhere. We're in a people business. I want to find professional people. I call them up on the phone. I say a few words. They say they're open. Cool. It's no big deal. Of course, some of us can be fearful of that, but it's really no big deal. If I didn't have marketing to do, I would call 100 people a day right now. I'm serious. That's what I would go do with professional people that have the ability to completely crush it. And I would fall on my face for a while. I mean, I mess up too. Just get on the phone and go. Maybe I have to listen for double and read more books and whatever, but I think we really have to look into our own eyes and say, look in the mirror and say, do you really want it? Like, really? Like, do you want it? Looking in the mirror, and this is where I've came to, and like, do you want it the way you say you want it? Do you want it as bad as you tell your team that you want it? Do you want it and are willing to do anything to go get it? Because realistically, Len, if you have $10,000, which I think you could have way more than that, of residual income, you hit diamond and you're making $10,000 to $15,000 of residual, meaning not recruiting income, but residual, that is rolling into your bank account every single month, whether you do anything or not, and you can go scuba diving wherever you want to go. Is that worth a few cold market calls? Is that worth a few home parties?
I think it is.
To meet people and have some fun and throw a party.
I don't mind doing the home parties. I'm actually not afraid of the home parties. The challenge I have is having a home to do the home parties in. It's like, that's where I've got to get. Huh?
You don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
Go recruit somebody.
Yeah. I would love to go if someone is setting up a home party and they had 5 people coming. I'd love to go do I love to get in front of audiences. I have no problem getting in front of audiences at all. None, zero.
We'll go make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, just understand what you're afraid about. You're afraid to call somebody that doesn't know you, that you don't know, have a 2-minute conversation with them, asking if they're open to something really cool. Like, what bad could come of that? Like, we think of the worst possible situation. You'll go scuba diving with sharks, but you won't get on the phone. You'll jump out of an airplane, but you won't get on a phone. Like, it's fear. It's just this simple.
I don't know where it comes from, Terry. Even as you said those words, I felt my chest tighten up. I felt this emotion run up my body.
So if you think for 1 minute that I don't get nervous and butterflies, but do it anyways, you're crazy.
Yeah. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better.
If I allow my fear to take control,
I'm getting better.
I won't do it. I'll procrastinate all day long.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we really have to analyze ourselves and be truthful and say, look in the mirror and say, now the real answer, it's okay either way. There doesn't have to be but do you really want it? And I'm looking up here, there's not a mirror, but do I really want it the way I tell everybody? Do I really want it the way I tell, Tommy and Mike and my wife? Do I really want it as bad as I tell my team, do I really, truly want it that bad? Because if I did, it's just about people. If I did, and I wanted it that bad, and I had 5 hours to donate, I would call 100 people. I can call 100 people in 2.5 hours. It's a 2-minute conversation if I did it that way. Now, if I don't have service or whatever, it's different. But if I really wanted it, I would add 100 or 200 friend requests at night. If I really wanted it, I would go recruit people until I recruited somebody that could do a home party at their house, and I would show up, and I would show up in the best dress that I had, and we'd have a party. We'd enroll people, and we'd drive through his organization. I would do everything I possibly could. If I really, if we're really truthful with our soul, we would say either yes or either no. And if we're not, it's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's just that, yeah, I want to make 1,000 or 2 or 5, but I don't care how soon it gets here. And I can go do my attraction marketing stuff and my customer stuff and recruit somebody once in a while. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's only so many people that really, really, their feet, not their mouth, but their feet tell everybody else around them, all right, he's willing. He's going to go. He's going to make this thing happen with or without me. You see, that's what we have to do, because at the end of the day, we need to be true to ourselves. We don't need to lie to ourselves. I'm not saying you are or you're not. And I would love this is going to be totally up to you, but I'd love for this whole conversation to get posted in the group, because I think a lot of people would get value from it. But that's up to you. But to look and say, I want 10,000 plus a month, and I want it now. Well, if that's the case, our feet need to match that. And if we have 2 hours at night, we need to do whatever we possibly can, whether it's cold calling, whether it's warm calling, whether it's talking to people wherever, and get them in front of a presentation, do a party at their house, or have them do a party at their house, and do this thing the right way, or do it in a virtual environment, one of the two. End of story. If not, it's okay. Let's just tell ourselves that. It's like the guy that tells themselves for 20 years that they're going to quit smoking. Well, quit putting stress on yourself. Just smoke, dude. Just have a good time.
Yep.
It's the same difference.
I finally quit I quit about almost 40 years ago now, but it took a long time.
But don't tell yourself you're going to go crush this thing. I'm not telling you. I'm telling the audience.
Right.
But
I understand.
And if you say yes, back it up. If you say yes, plant your feet and do it. If you say yes, make it happen. Get on the phone, get better. Make the calls. Do whatever you have to do. You yourself need to get yourself in a professional environment so you can bring some people in that are going to do something, right? You need more of those doers, like Larry, you need more of those amazing, amazing people.
Yeah.
You get me?
I wish Charlene has the possibility but she's loaded with fear. Fear it's not going to work. Fear all our customers are going to quit. Fear of this, fear of that. I had a conversation with her today.
Do you know what she needs?
What?
She needs you to go crush it.
She needs some success.
She's depending on you.
Yeah.
Like Larry is, just like Tim is, just like your whole team is.
Yeah.
Just show them that it's possible.
Yeah.
And if you go show them that it's possible, they're going to do it. They will have no other excuse. Now, that shouldn't put pressure on you, but it should put pressure on you.
No.
You see, would you be here if I wouldn't have done what I did? No, there's no way. You wouldn't. You would have never went to conference. You would have never got inspired. You would have never hit director. You would have never.
No, and I'm going to hit leadership ranks. The only question is whether I can do it this month.
Don't look at your result.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Don't look at your result.
I do have one problem, Terry. Very
Okay.
serious, a very serious one. If I don't get up and go pee, I'm going to wet my pants.
All right. Well, you go. I am going to end this right now. And
now, when you say post it in the group, you mean post this whole video?
I mean, just upload this video to your YouTube channel if you want to. Leave it unlisted. Send me the link. If you're willing, I think there's a lot of learning lessons in
I'm
this.
willing. I have no problem with that.
Okay, send it over to me first and let me post it. I think that would be more valuable.
Okay.
So I can add some pointers to it. But talk to you soon. We'll be in the team room here in a minute.
Okay, I'm not going to be there right away. We've spent a lot more time than I expected. I got to go run a couple errands. So.
All right.
I thought we were going to be on for 10 minutes. I'm sorry I took so much of your time.
Don't be sorry.
Talk to you, buddy.
Give me this recording over when you can. Bye-bye.
I will do it. Bye.